Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the TBG podcast. This is episode 9, I think. In this episode, Alex and I discuss bonding with your kids, 8th place trophies, and we're bringing back Free Patch Friday. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What up? How's it going?
So tired.
It's like your answer every time. What day is it even? It's Friday.
It's Friday.
The 21st.
So happy Father's Day last weekend.
A week late. How was your Father's Day? What did you guys do?
Yes.
Did we have a long weekend? That was just a regular weekend.
That was a regular weekend.
It felt long.
No, it was good. We Father's Day got trumped by my grandmother's 96th birthday.
Good for her. She's awesome.
So,
I love her.
So yeah, she still tries to cook for everyone, lives by herself. So, you know what I mean? She kind of trumps us on that one. But it was good. It was good, yeah, with my folks. And then we saw the in-laws and kids played and
all the things.
You know, basically Father's Day, the day that you sometimes just want to be able to like go in the garage and like organize something. And
I saw a funny meme not too long ago about Father's Day. It was like, for Mother's Day, they want you to take him out to dinner and do all the stuff, and for Father's Day, they want you to cook out or something like that. Or
no, actually,
did you send me that?
I sent you a meme that was like, they like every restaurant on Mother's Day is packed. On Father's Day, they want you to grill, and you're like, I don't want to work.
Yeah, it's really funny the difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day, and like I think a lot of dads just want to like do nothing. Most dads are like, I'm just like, I just want to sleep. Like we put out a post that was like, I want to blank for Father's Day. And I'm trying to remember what the results were for that, but there was like sleep.
To be the first thing I thought about that I'm sure a lot of people could relate to, but it always seems to come back to this with children is like, I just want to have quiet time in the bathroom. Can no one beat on my door, holler at me,
fingers under the door,
just give me 20 minutes alone.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Yeah, I've been like,
I don't even remember what I did. I mean, we went out on the boat Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did Saturday. I couldn't tell you right now. I can't tell you what I did yesterday.
Like, I've been noticing that a lot. Like you know, you come home and the wife's like, "Oh, how was your day at work?" And I was like,
"Good."
I was there. I worked a lot. We're moving the needle. We're moving forward. But like the 50 emails I replied to and the 24 texts, you know, it's just like. I was working. It's like I feel like my like short-term memory is getting like I don't know.
Well,
is that because of kids or is that just
you and I have so much going on between the business and other things outside the business and other things we're trying to accomplish that like there's just so many things bouncing around inside the old dome that like last weekend that's like gone past like irrelevant at this point. I'm trying to think about tomorrow. I don't even know what happened.
I'm trying to figure out like, all right, what am I gonna do? Like I know I got stuff to do. What is it that I actually have to do just even in an hour? You know, actually, so driving here this morning, I was thinking, I was like, you know, like about, you know, just kids and everything else. It's like, I forget how I completely phrased it. Like in my head, it sounds good. Now that I'm trying to tell everyone listening, it's going to just come out all butchered. But it was like, it was with kids. It was like, you're like, the only time you can like get up at 5 a.m. and not get actually anything done till like nap time in the afternoon. You know what I mean? It's like I've been up for like 5 hours. I have not accomplished one thing.
Yeah, it's really funny because recently Brandy was like, so what do you have on the schedule for today? And I was like, I have no idea. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like I almost quit putting things on my calendar because none of it was getting done anyways. It was almost there just as reminders to do things. And it was more frustrating to me that I wasn't getting those things done and I have to like move them on the calendar.
That's what happened.
You know what I mean?
I was like every day. It's like let me slide this
over 2 days.
Slide this over.
But it's like it's good because it stays in your face. But at the same time, it's like you and I are doers and we like to accomplish things. So like when you see all these things that you didn't get done in a day, it almost like stresses you out. And so I just quit putting certain things on the calendar and just have like a list or like marked emails that I need to make sure that are get done or things like that. Or I started actually having a notebook. Good idea. Make sure my phone's on silent. I started having a notebook that was like writing things down. And like, so I just quit putting things on my calendar because everything pops up during the day for us, which is why we can't get other things done or whatever.
Well, that's why I derive so much pleasure out of like like scooping leaves off of a pool or something.
Yeah.
You know, like there's leaves and then there's no leaves.
Something's
and you're
getting
like,
done.
Yes, got
Yeah.
something done.
Yeah, it's really, really funny. You know, that's all right. Sorry, guys. There's tape in the background. We're shipping packages here.
Yeah,
we're shipping packages. So there might be a little bit of background noise.
So I've had like all the friends have the babies.
Oh yeah.
Past like week, it's been crazy. So my college roommate, good friend of mine, had his second, Lee, and so congratulations, Lee. And it was
Congrats.
a boy.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, they did the full on like not like
no gender reveal, nothing.
No, yeah, like
surprise.
Surprise. It was a
it's a boy.
Let's say like the dude wanted to hang out for like an extra week in there, just like keep cooking. Joker was like
done.
over 10 pounds. God bless her.
You know, Kendall was like 10 pounds.
No.
She was 9 pounds, 13 ounces or something. She's like the skinniest, tiniest little girl in the world.
Dude.
Biggest baby. And she was huge. Cameron was really big too. She was like over 8 pounds. She was pretty big, but she was the fattest kid. Like her cheeks, she had like fat rolls on her cheeks, fat rolls on her knees, like all the fat rolls. And she's like the super fit, strong gymnastics girl now.
And meanwhile, both of my twins weighed less than this cat.
It's combined.
Yeah, combined.
Yeah.
It was less than.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, he was like 10 pounds, 8 ounces, and the twins were born like literally just under
5.
Just under 5. I think we took them home at like 4:12, 4:13.
That's crazy.
Like that. And then Anders, the youngest, so he was a little over 6 pounds. But we're not also the biggest people.
No. Well, neither are we.
That's true.
Brandy
that's
and I
true.
are small.
That's
like Brandy's like 110 pounds.
like gestational diabetes or anything like that?
No.
Just
They just
grown big?
Big kids.
Grown big in the
fat,
womb?
healthy babies.
There you go.
That
does. There's like a balance. I've come to find out. So his son's being just monitored because I guess the bigger the baby, sometimes there's the low blood sugar issue, and then for like my kids, it was a concern because they were so small. So like there's that happy medium of like not any, just the happy medium, and so he's been, I guess, being able to visit and do everything else, but.
I gotta find a picture of Brandy when she was pregnant with Cameron. Her stomach was like, you would have thought there was twins in there. It was so big, and it was all belly. Like she didn't gain a ton of weight. She only gained like 25 or 30 pounds. It was just
swallowed a basketball.
Belly. It was so ridiculous. Like you look back at we knew it was big then, but then like you look back at pictures now, and you're like, what in the world?
We had an
alien.
Yeah, obviously a few months ago for their birthday, we phone like pops up stuff. It was like the photo we took before going to the hospital with the twins. You're like, oh, okay. But at the time, it doesn't.
You know what? I bet I'm going to get one of those. Cameron's birthday's in a couple of weeks, and I should check my Facebook memories. I'm sure it'll be easier to find it than digging through thousands.
Yeah, so then we had, the wife had some, 2 high school friends recently have had, their second. And then another friend from college just had their third. And this girl was like, I heard the story about her, and I'm not going to say names just to keep her privacy, but this woman is a trooper. So, I think she was like right on schedule with like the 40 weeks, right? Wakes up.
That tape is just ridiculous.
So
hey, Brian, I'm going to order you the silent tape.
Exactly. So, like the day of, actually, no, I take that back. Like, the baby came like 2 or 3 days earlier because she was going to do some maternity photos. Just to have some with the family. As like, here's our family of 4. We moved to a family of 5. So, the wakes up that morning is like, baby's coming today. Calls the photographer, gets dressed, gets her like other 2 kids dressed and everything else. Takes photos like contractions every like 4 minutes apart. And it's like, all right, we'll take the other kids to the daycare for the day. So she's like hanging out, starts doing laundry, starts doing all of her other just things around the house, getting ready for the fact that the baby's like. And then they starts to get to 3 minutes apart, and everyone's texting her you need to go to the hospital. This baby's gonna come. It's like, all right, fine. So literally she woke up that morning. The water never broke. Woke up woke up that morning and had that feeling. It was 2:00. She finally gets to the hospital. So drops off.
Yeah.
He'll go park the car. She walks in.
Checks
in. gets up there and she's like, so at this point she's checking in like, okay, all right, where's the delivery? Like, it's like has to do the pause, right? Walks up to the floor, like the nurse comes and sees her, and she's like, "Oh, you here to deliver a baby?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think it's coming pretty soon." Literally, her husband rides in the elevator with the doctor. They don't know that it's the doctor delivering. Like, literally gets to the hospital, checked in at like 2:30, and this baby comes out at like 3.
Wow.
So no epidural, no nothing, just straight trooper. Like,
gangster.
Has a normal day. Meanwhile, like, when I have the man flu over here, you know what I mean? It's
dies.
like I have allergies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how do I survive this? Meanwhile, this woman's as tough as nails.
Well, that was like Carissa.
That's true.
So you guys know who? Well, if you don't know, check out Carissa Littlejohn. A girl that we do a lot of stuff with on Instagram. But we were we met with her somewhere, and we were doing a dad joke video with Gatman right before they had a baby. I was like, hey, we did a couple of these dad joke videos, and I want to do more of them. Speaking of which, I didn't tell a dad joke to intro this video. I'm disappointed in myself now. Anyways,
outro it.
Dad joke video, and the whole time she's like sitting on the couch, and you guys can see this in this video. It's hilarious. She's having contractions. We joke about it, and she ends up having a baby. Like,
well, then we go to dinner that night.
Yeah, and then we went to dinner.
So she's sitting there, and I'm starting to like count them 4, and she's like, "Oh, they're like 5 minutes apart." I'm like,
that's you should probably go to the hospital.
Like, go home, get your stuff. Like, you don't need to be at dinner with us.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm good. And you can see her in the background just like squinting her face and having contractions, and she's like tracking them on an app on the phone. I'm like, Carissa, you should probably go to the hospital. No, I'm good. I really want dinner. Like,
this is my last good meal
and then
ever.
They went home, changed, and went to the hospital after that. And then I think within 24 hours, they had a baby. But it was hilarious. I'm like, girl, you are for real.
But yeah, this girl, like, normal day, like 2 little. I mean, their kids are still young. Just like woke up, did family photo. I mean, you know how it is trying to, like, everyone on Instagram is like, here's your one family photo that looks like, oh wow, you got the nicest family and everything was put together. What you don't see is like the 3 hours of
crap
before it took like to get the one photo.
Kicking,
you know what I
crying.
mean? Someone's playing in mud, someone's eating sand,
my
someone's
kids will
pulling
make
tape. Whatever.
My kids will make ridiculous faces on purpose now. We're like, try to take a nice photo, and Kendall just like sticking her tongue out, being goofy, and it's like, it's funny, but you're trying not to laugh. And you're like,
you don't want to encourage it more.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of, and then it just gets annoying, and then you're pissed, and then you're like, if you do it again, I'm gonna spank you.
It would be interesting though, real quick though, is like in the comments section, if you got some crazy like story that you can keep your privacy, but like I'd love to hear some of these crazy stories that y'all have. Because I was literally flipping through on like the news on my phone, and like some woman had like one of the headlines was like, woman delivers in the car on the way to the hospital. I'm like, that's some.
Yeah, I saw that like a week
kind
ago.
of scary and dangerous.
It's crazy.
Assuming that everyone's safe. But
what's
like,
amazing is that people that have babies that don't even realize they're pregnant. Like, they're hardly show, and you think to yourself, like, how can you not know you're pregnant? Like, how? Like, but there's people.
We hear a lot because the mother-in-law's labor and delivery, and she'll have a few, and sometimes you're like, she'll say like sometimes it's someone who's just in complete denial. Other times.
Like, there's some people just legitimately have no idea. They're still having periods and like all this stuff, and you're like, what? Like, it's like, anyways, I don't know the science behind that. There's some voodoo magic behind it. I have no idea. But lately, though, I said spanking, which triggered a thought in my mind. So we've been dealing with my oldest daughter just still not wanting to sleep in her room. And I got her to sleep in her room to the point where I had to take one of the cameras, a Nest camera from my house, from one location and put it in another location that's like so pain in the butt in the way for life, to look down the hallway at their bedroom so I can be like, I'm watching you. If you come out of your room, you're getting spanked. And then last night we had that thunderstorm and lightning, and it was the end of the world. Like, just panic, meltdown, hyperventilating, can't stay in her room. She's scared of the lightning, all this crap. And then I'm watching her. I finally get in my bed, and I get her in her bed. I get in my bed, and I'm watching the camera, and she starts walking out of her room.
Oh, did you talk through
I
it?
talked through it. And I'm like, go back to your room. And she stops dead in her tracks, and that's when she realized, she's like, oh, dang, he's really watching this. And the timing just happened to be perfect, because Brandy was like, hey, is she still in her room? I was like, I don't know. Let me check the camera. I checked the camera and she was like walking. It was like so perfect timing. So I talked to her through the camera. I'm like, go back to your room. And I see her stop and just start crying and like walk back to her room. But then she knew I was watching and she stayed in her room the rest of the night. So Dad 1, Cameron 0.
There you go. There you go.
But it's such a struggle bus, man, the whole time. Like, and Kendall, you know, the youngest one, she's like an angel about the whole thing. She's like, Daddy, I'm ready to go to bed. Well, bedtime routine, which has gotten out of control. The bedtime routine's just like, it's good to have a routine,
bedtime
but then it just like, it's gotten, they want this and they want that and and then they're freaking out because they want water, and you go through all this, you go to the kitchen, you get a cup, you get water in it, and they wanted ice, and I'm like, you're drinking the water, and they're like, I need ice, and I'm like, I'll get you ice. I get ice, they take like half a sip, they're like, okay. I'm like,
yeah, we started cutting it off. Like, there was a little bit of time where like he's, you know, I said the oldest by 2 minutes, was like, oh, I want some water, and like, sure, you know, we did that for a little bit just because, you know, like,
yeah.
For example, like we might have had Mexican that night, and I was like, all right, maybe he's thirsty, you know.
But then it's like,
but then like he started asking him for like 2 days in, I was like, he's like, can I get water? I'm like, nope, just.
Yeah, there's like a time where it's like you choose your battle because it's like I could get water or I could fight this for 10 minutes because they're freaking out because they want water. Like, do I just let them have water? Or do I let them have, like, do I make my life miserable for the next 15, 20 minutes?
Well, our kids thankfully are still in a crib because that's their happy place, and they haven't fought yet. They can climb out, they can do whatever they want, and they still don't. They should be in a regular bed, but I mean,
they're sleeping.
If they're sleeping and they're fine, and whatever. So
I locked my kids in their room at one point to get them to stay in their rooms.
Well, that's what the doorknob. That's what our doctor said too.
I turned the doorknob around and locked it.
If they're having a tantrum and everything else, like as long as it's a safe spot in there where they can't, you know, do anything else, then shut the door and hey, you can come out when you calm down. Mm-hmm. And even them being 3, I was like, at age 3, like, can they comprehend that? They're like, they comprehend a lot more than you think. So you do that once or twice, they'll get shorter and shorter and shorter, just like, you know, everything else.
Anything else? Cameron's just so smart. She's like my dog. Like, hold on, bear with me here. Bear with me. I want to elaborate a little bit more. But I've got a dog that's a pain in the butt. She's 16 years old. She's a pain in the butt, and she's so smart. I've trained her for so many things over the years, and now she's just gotten old, and she's like, she just uses it to manipulate you. And Cameron's the same way. Like, she just knows how to work it to get what she wants a lot of times. And then when you push back, it's like she turns on the guilt trip hard. Like, I'm just the worst and I just don't listen. I'm like, that I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. Like, you know, and it's just so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah, we've entered the Threenagers though.
Negative. Threenagers. Let's talk about Threenagers. That's a good one because, you know, everyone says terrible 2s. Like 2 ain't got nothing on 3.
It's like they've finally gotten smart enough to where they can, again, like they're starting to say things like, I don't want that. You know, they're comprehending like, this is what I like.
Dude, they came in here the other day and they were talking like, I was like, that's the most I've ever heard these kids talk. You're like, dude, they won't shut up now.
And they do it in 2 languages. So I'm like, okay. What are you trying to tell me?
Threenagers, you guys. So everyone talks about the terrible 2s. Terrible 2 starts around 18 months and goes. And when you start approaching 3, they get real bad because now they really understand and comprehend and can use those words and be like, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, it's like the test, and that's where the consistency comes in.
Like, it's gangster. You know, but like it's not. It's like Threenager, like really terrible 3s / Threenager / you want to punch them.
I think we're gonna. I was gonna use some words, beat it out of them, but metaphorically, not physically. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're gonna hit that like half year mark. Once they go back to school and what is it, early September, I think that'll be the turning point.
Right.
I think we would have been consistent enough, and you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, and that's what I mean. It sucks always saying no to your kids, but like
it just seems so negative. Yeah, but you really have to set those boundaries. It's
or else, they're gonna walk all over you. They're gonna never eat their food. You know, it's just like here's what's on your plate.
Yeah,
that's so hungry. You know what I mean? Because I mean, like we're thankfully in a very prosperous country, and most of us are very fortunate in the sense of like your kid's not going to go hungry if he doesn't eat one meal.
Yeah.
Some people aren't as lucky, but but they're not gonna like.
They'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. Like, okay, I was hungry for one meal. Like, I'm gonna eat the next one.
Yeah, he was serious.
It's got to be like, we're not short order cooks.
Yeah.
So guess what? This is what we're eating tonight. If you don't like it, tough.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't eating peanut butter and jellies every night.
Speaking of after summer, I think today's officially the first day of summer.
Is it?
Can anybody verify that? Today's first day of summer? Yeah, cool. Summer's been interesting for us so far. Somebody was just asking if my kids were in camp this summer. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Will. And then what was that? Travis, was that you that said it was Camp Brandy? Yeah. they're like, yeah, she's with Camp Brandy. Brandy's like,
she's like all the stay-at-home parents for the summer. I don't know how they do
mom, where she's just literally driving around everywhere. Like, this kid's got to be at gymnastics at 9:30, and then this one's got to be there at 1, and it's like lunch in between or something, and like all this stuff and blah blah blah, and just back and forth all day long, back and forth,
I couldn't do it. I don't know how they do it.
And then she's like, will you please? I've been slacking. Not that I've been slacking, I've been busy, but she's like, will you please call the housekeeper? And like, I can't keep up. I'm like, yeah, I'll make that happen. But it's tough, man. I say it all the time, like, stay-at-home moms. Like, everyone just like undervalues stay-at-home moms for like
stay-at-home parents. Yeah,
you're just a stay-at-home mom. Like, big whoop. That's I couldn't do it. I'd lose my mind. But I think it'd be definitely a mind shift, and that's what I struggle with as even on the weekends, coming off of everything we got going with during the week. It's almost like I need 2 days before I could get in that mindset. The problem is 2 days to Saturday and Sunday, and then it's back at the grind on Monday. But nevertheless, even if I got into the mindset, it's tough. It is a big mindset change. I'm about to take a week off. We're going to do a staycation. I got my brother and his family coming. Ooh, you didn't break your phone, did you? They're coming in town, and so we're gonna have a bunch of people at the house, and it's gonna be kind of chaotic, I'm sure, but it'll be fun. But like having to mentally prepare like a week ago to take a week off, just to get in the right mindset of like, okay, I just don't need to worry about business stuff so much. I've got a few things I'm gonna do, while I'm at home, and I'll stop in the office and get a few things done. I'm gonna have to do that.
Pretend like you're not gonna pop in. I'll be sure to text you and ruin your
I'll be like, Mayday. You'll be like,
fire the office.
Exactly. I'll be like, gotta go to the office. Sorry. No, I say that like I don't spend time with my kids. I love spending time with my kids, and the older they get, and the more capable they are of doing like really cool things and tasks. Like, you grow this, like, you just get to be very proud of them for things that they can do. So like Cameron's gymnastics, for example, during gymnastics, like competition season is the coolest thing, I think, for me. 'Cause like, she's very competitive. I'm very competitive. Like, to see her go and excel and like do really well at something she loves to do and like win first place. And that's like, you get these proud dad moments that like, you have those little micro moments.
So you haven't had to burn the eighth place trophy yet?
No.
Thankfully, she hasn't gotten the 8th place trophy.
She's always like top 5.
What's your take on that?
8th place trophies? I think it's crap. Like,
agreed.
Participation trophies, I think are. I mean, we had that stuff. You know what I mean? I feel like. So I'm trying to think back to like baseball and soccer.
Do you think there is a point of like an age of like when the kids are all 5, they all get a little like.
Yeah,
button or something, you know what I mean? But it's like once you like kind of hit it in your mind, is there a tipping point of like, all right, they're 5 and older now, well, like they know the difference, and like if you didn't win, you lost.
I think it's okay when they're super young, because it's like it gets them excited about doing it.
Yeah,
cool. They're like, oh, I got a trophy. Cool, I participated in T-ball or
because
soccer
again,
or whatever.
Like,
they don't understand.
Score doesn't really matter anyways.
Right. They don't understand the competitive side of it. Once they understand the competitive side of it, and like, I have to perform better to get this trophy, that's when it matters. Gotcha. When they're in that, I think that 6, 7, 8-year-old, like when they're doing more competitive things where scoring matters, where they won. That team won because they scored more points.
Yeah, someone hit a baseball and ran around the. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's when it starts to matter, and they have to understand that they have to work harder to get a better score or score that extra point or perform better or whatever to get that award. that's when it matters.
I would agree with that.
You know, but I don't think when they're
you don't want
4
to
and
discourage
5,
them. You don't want to discourage them when they're super young to be involved just because they're not connecting the dots.
Yeah.
But then you know, like you're 10, you're like, well, guess what?
I get one?
Yeah,
when it's really hard because as an adult, you're like, no, he didn't earn that trophy. But at the same time, you're like, you want to give them that feel good, so they want to continue to do it. But then there's a point where it's like, well, you don't just get one anymore. So it's really interesting.
So at that age, does it just come down to again the village, if you would, that's around that whatever event that, hey, you lost, great job, and you pick them up, but that's the parenting side of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's just communication to them, like, hey, sorry, you didn't get a trophy, but like next time you need to do a little bit harder. You need to run a little faster. You need to perform a little better, practice your things, whatever it is, you know, and try to get that. You know,
you work towards trying to be better so you can.
Yeah, that's that for sure. But I was going. So you have those micro proud moments along the way. Their first steps, and they roll over, and they're walking, and then they start doing other things, and you're like, oh my god, they can do this now. That's so cool. But then when they're like actually competing and doing things in sports and like excelling, and you're like, dang, they're good at this. That's so cool. Then you just want to support that.
Now, do you think that has something a little bit to do with the kind of the difference between the males and the females, being that? Because I felt like when my kids were first born, there's a certain level of like, wow, that's my offspring, right? Like I helped create that, but I didn't have those 9 months of being attached to it and growing it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, well, here's this foreign thing that I don't, especially if you're first time, like I don't know what to do, how to do. I can't feed it, short of providing a bottle, but like from a natural standpoint, I can't feed it. It's just kind of an alien, right? You know what I mean? And so like then as it gets a little bit, a few weeks go by, a month go by, and then it winks at you and smiles, and you start to build
that bond.
You know what I mean? As opposed to the motherly bond where it's like, well, I've already been attached to this, baby for the 9 months. So I guess, does that seem to, I thought something internally, I was like, wow, like am I missing something? Because again, especially as far as the internet's concerned, everyone's like, this is the most amazing thing ever. And you're like, well,
there's definitely those moments, where you're like, you don't have that same bond and that same attachment
right
as
out
mom.
the gate.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
so have you found that
I got to keep this thing alive?
Yeah, like, again, almost more the like, provider standpoint, like right out the gate, as opposed to feeling so fondly, even though you hold it, cuddle it, and try to support the spouse as much as possible. But have you found, I guess, because my kids are still young, and I'm noticing that more, like when they listen and they start to push the scooter and they're not falling off and just being goofy. You're like, oh, like they're kind of getting it. That's really cool. Or even using words, like you said, my kids now talk. It's like, whoa, like when did they learn that word?
Right.
So I feel like it's been getting that like bond again continues to grow
as they get older.
Because it you didn't have those first 9 months in that like I didn't know if maybe you felt
like I'm super attached to my kids, and like as much as I would like wanted boys, like I love my girls to death. They're the best thing ever. And like I come home and I get the daddy, and it's like that feel good at the end of the day. You're like, oh, okay. And it's a reminder.
That's what I feel so bad about is I come home and they might have just been destroying the house, and like the wife's looking at me like, again, setting up a flare, right? But then they come run up to me and give me a hug. I'm like, oh, these kids are awesome. And she's like, I put him in timeout 4 times. I about choked him out. Yeah. This kid's over here playing with an outlet that he's about to kill himself. We need to do something about that. And
I'm losing my mind.
And I'm just getting big hugs. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome.
That happened actually yesterday. I came home and Brandy and Cameron were like bickering at each other about something. And I come in the house and like, we have long, like, I won't say stressful, but there's things that happen throughout the day, little micro stresses. And you like come home, you just want to like, all right, I'm home, I want to chill for a minute. But I come home last night to some like bickering back and forth about something. I don't even know what it was now. I'm like, hey, what's up with all the negativity around here? I don't want to walk into all this, And then I get yelled at from both of them, and it was like, well, you weren't here all day, and you don't know what's been going on, and I'm like, I just want to like drink a beer and hang out. Like, and they're like, you don't know what it's like. I'm like,
go get Data Blue and come on.
Yeah, exactly. So, I can totally relate to that. But back to your question of like
well, it just sounds
as
like
they get older and
it seems like,
and it's cool because Cameron will be like, yo, let's go outside and play basketball, or come jump on the trampoline, and it's like they just want to do more things with you, which is great. But also, there's a lot of times you're like, I've got so much to do, and there's a balance, and like I struggle with the balance. Like, and you guys see the Instagram stories. I put a lot. I put some stuff on Instagram stories. I don't put a lot on Instagram stories at home with the family because most of it's just screaming, and no one wants to hear that. Travis will attest to that. He'll be at my house a lot. Real life, and it's just like constant. If the kids aren't screaming, the dogs are barking, or there's a bug in a bathroom that someone's screaming about, and it's like just madness, chaos at my house all the time. So that's why there's a lack of like home life on some social media. I'd love to do like a family vlog, and like we had the TBG vlogs that I did for a while when the kids were younger. That was more like going to the playground and doing fun things with the kids and kind of showing like behind the scenes of us with kids and all that. But like it's just a lot of like noise at this point. Like no one wants to watch that.
It's getting
so
loud.
now I limit it to like if we do a family vacation that I think will be entertainment for these guys to watch, then I will film it and we'll do something that's just a video for them to watch.
Yeah, the kids have been wanting to get more involved with me playing and everything else, which is fun. But then I'm also like trying to encourage that independent playtime too, so they're not dependent upon us. So it's really hard, especially if I haven't been home all day or even on the weekend. I kind of want to be involved with them, but like if they're having some good time with them just all playing, it's like got to like take a step back to make sure they can develop that skill, I guess you would as well. Right. So parenting is all about balance. That is basically it.
And there's no, you know what, and what's funny is like everyone wants some magic secret to the balance, and there's no right or wrong answer for anybody. Like it's what works best for you. We talked about this with ManSpot.
I mean, you got to know your kids and what's your home dynamic like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some people have got to work the 2 jobs, and some people had triplets. Like God bless them. But
I just pulled up some questions from the last thing. See if there's some that went unanswered that we can answer. I see one right off the rip that I'll answer. That's from Isaac Chisholm. That says, I want to get a tattoo, but I'm not sure what to get. If you're not sure what you want to get, you probably shouldn't get one until you're very certain about it. Like for most people, and I know ManSpot was the same way. I know this question was initially for ManSpot. In the last episode, if you haven't seen that episode, you can check that out. But my tattoos all have some sort of symbolism to something. Like this entire arm is family related. Actually, this too. Like this, I've got to get this redone. But my left hand has a treasure chest on it. You guys can't see it in this video, but you've seen pictures of it, and it looks terrible at this point because it needs to be redone. But all of the treasure inside the treasure chest is all of my family's birthstones. Did you know that?
I did.
So that's pretty cool. It looks like crap right now. And then I've got like family and my last name and the family crest and one of my grandmother's paintings on my shoulder. And like even this heart is like a family thing, and there's 3 stars for the 3 brothers, and a microphone on my arm because my dad was in TV and radio broadcasting forever. And like just symbolic, like I've got a paw print that says Ranger. Most people think I was an Army Ranger, but it was actually for a dog that I was super attached to that died.
The dog.
There's a paw print that says Ranger through it. Yeah, there's all kinds of like everything's family. I've got a mom tattoo on the inside of my arm. Like I had to get the mom tattoo. After I had so many tattoos, I was like, first of all, I didn't like my mom's one of the most important people in my life. I didn't have a tattoo for my mom, so I was like, I'm just getting a straight up old school Americana mom. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so that was tattoos.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. Nothing's ever spoke to me.
But I think, a lot of it is just like finding if you want a tattoo, get something that means something to you. Don't just get it for the sake of getting it. Because I know plenty of people have done that, and they're like, why did I do this? This is so stupid. And then they're covering it up, and then all this, it's expensive. And please do not try to find the cheapest tattoo artist you can find, because you get what you pay for. Like this is something that's going to be on your body forever. Pay for good art. And when I say that, so give you guys an idea, good tattoo artist is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 an hour, roughly. So don't be looking for somebody like dirt cheap. My cousin does them for free, dog. Let me get you hooked up. No thanks.
The little tear one right by your eye.
Ah, yeah. I think we answered most of these. What else were we talking about?
Dead space on air.
Dead space. It's like the biggest no-no ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else? Ryan, have you seen anything on Instagram lately that people have brought up or talked about that we should discuss on the old podcast here? I'm bringing Free Patch Friday back, you guys. So the panel is up. You can't see it it's right next behind Alex's head back there, but I've got to put all the patches on it. I'm going to try to fire that up today because it's Friday. If I can, I can't find the old patch panel. It was up here.
No, it's downstairs.
It's downstairs. You know where it's at?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, I need to swap those over. Free Patch Friday's coming back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on Instagram and Facebook, I was doing it on both, so I'll probably do it on both again. Every single Friday, I take a picture of the patch panel in the office, and it's got a bunch of random patches on it. It's got some really neat patches, some rare patches. You guys have sent us patches. We put it on the panel. We take a picture of it. The best comment wins. And if you're a winner, you get to choose any patch off the panel that you want. We ship it to you for free. It's just a fun thing to do with the community. So I'm going to fire that back up. It's usually Fridays at noon.
Best dad joke today, so we can get a good dad joke for next podcast.
There's some really funny stuff that comes up in the Free Patch Friday comments. What you got? Pinterest? Yeah, we're making a solid effort on Pinterest and Twitter. So if you guys would, if you're in Pinterest, for any of the ladies that might, well, there's dudes on Pinterest too. Anyways, we're making a bigger effort on Pinterest to put some stuff out there. So if you want to follow us on Pinterest, repin some pins, that would be awesome. Leaving reviews for us, please, would be amazing. A lot of asks. You guys get ready. I'm doing a lot of asks right now. So I hope you're into doing some favors. We're going to call it Favor Friday. So Pinterest, Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. We're going to start using Twitter a lot more. Pinterest, Twitter.
You were saying reviews.
Reviews on the platforms for the podcast would be much appreciated on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google, Spotify, YouTube, all the places. Actually, you can't leave a review on YouTube, but subscribing would be very much appreciated. Maybe hit the notification bell if you're feeling real spicy. That would be awesome. I don't know. I guess that's kind of it. Unless you got something else to talk about.
No.
Let's get some questions from these guys. Will you guys leave a question in the comment, or leave a question in the comment. We'll circle back to those questions on the next podcast, and we'll answer some of those. In the meantime, enjoy summer, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.